All right, welcome back to the Art of Football 365. Tonight I'm with my roommate, Carter Budenz. We're going to be doing a mock draft. This is mock draft 3.0. We're just going to do one round, and we're going to do every single pick in round one and see what we come up with. He's a Bears fan. I'm a Cowboys fan, so this will be interesting to see what we can come up with. But we'll go ahead and share the screen, and we can get rolling. All right. Move this. All right, so the first pick in the draft. What are we thinking?
Definitely Lawrence.
We're thinking Trevor Lawrence right off the bat.
Definitely Lawrence.
All right, so we're going to draft Trevor Lawrence. Second pick, we got the Jets.
This could go a lot of ways, I think.
I think it definitely could. I mean, you see the team needs right here, and obviously the Jets have been needing a quarterback for quite some time. So, I mean, they could roll the dice and go with Zach Wilson or Fields right here. Receivers.
Who do you think fits them the best? Who do you think out of Zach Wilson, Justin Fields? Just start there.
I'd say I'd probably roll. If I'm the Jets, I'm probably gonna roll with Zach Wilson, and it's not a knock on Justin Fields at all. It's just I feel like Zach Wilson would fit their scheme in a better way. I feel like he fits what they want to do. Compared to where Fields, I feel like is more comparable to, like I was talking to Carter about this earlier, I feel like he's more comparable to a guy like Dak, and I feel like he's a young version of a guy like Russell Wilson, and I just don't think the Jets would hop on that. But
at the same time, I just see, I could see the Jets getting Fields here.
Yeah.
The only knock I've seen on Zach Wilson is the experience with BYU.
Yeah.
I don't think that makes or breaks a player. But with Justin Fields, the season he had playing in the, there's a lot of talk about Ohio State not deserving to be in the playoff or whatever. Wherever you stand on that, I think everyone agrees that Justin Fields balled against Clemson for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So I want to say Fields goes here.
We're gonna roll with Fields, the number 2 pick. Then we got Miami. We were talking about this earlier tonight. Looking at a receiver with Miami, honestly, I feel like if they do decide to stick with Tua, which I mean he's had a year, kind of half a season, honestly, with Fitz playing most of the first half of the season. So I feel like you got to roll with Tua for at least another year and see what he's got. So I feel like you give him his weapon.
Jamar Chase.
But then it comes down to Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith, which is another tough conversation.
They also need some line work.
They do.
I don't know if Sewell would be a good option for them.
See, that's the thing. I don't think Penei Sewell makes it past pick 5 because I think if he gets past Miami, I think I could see him going to Cincinnati right away.
My thing with this is Jamar Chase, we don't know where he's going to end up. I feel like with the Dolphins, I feel like if I'm their GM or whatever, I'm thinking Sewell's not going to be there. Like Sewell's going to either get, I feel like, drafted by Cincy. Like I feel like Cincy's where he's going to go.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking if the Dolphins decide to pass on Sewell, I'm going to send him to Cincinnati. So quite honestly, I feel like the Dolphins roll with the wideout. Like I feel like they go wideout, and I feel like it will be a guy like Devontae Smith. So I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to go with Devontae. Then we got Atlanta, which is tough for me because I talked about this earlier as well. Is I want / see a guy like Justin Fields going to Atlanta, and their top need is a quarterback. Then you got an edge, tight end, linebacker, but obviously you got Matt Ryan's monster contract still on the books, which it will be this year. So did they take a guy like Zach Wilson? He's still there at 4, or do you let the quarterback ride out and you wait it? Like, do you wait this out, or do you just go ahead and take a guy like Zach Wilson?
It's gonna be tough for the Falcons. I mean, I feel like you see their need as a receiver. I mean, you got Ridley, you got Julio. I mean, who knows what Julio is going to do?
Yeah.
Who knows what he's going to end up after this year? I don't know the contract details with that, but I
feel like
see
they're just
Falcons going with the quarterback.
Yeah, I just don't think you can pass on it. I think it's going to come down to Zach Wilson or
Fields.
Yeah.
If Fields.
So we're gonna roll with Zach Wilson. Then we got Cincy, and we talked about Penei Sewell, so we'll roll with Sewell. And then this is where it gets interesting, because Philly is honestly they could go anywhere. I mean, you got a guy in Jalen Hurts who's poised to be your starting quarterback this year after the trade of Carson Wentz to the Colts. So I mean, if Philly doesn't feel like they have that complete answer at quarterback, they could look at a guy like Trey Lance here. And so could Carolina 2 picks later.
I think.
But I feel like they got to go receiver.
I think Pitts is.
Kyle Pitts isn't. Yep, Pitts.
I think
Chase.
I think this is gonna be tough for Philly because Ertz is gonna be.
Ertz is gonna be gone.
I don't know who do they have that. What's his face? What's his name?
Receiver?
No,
or tight end. Oh, Dallas Goedert.
Goddard.
Who's had some injury problems too, and Kyle Pitts is a receiver and a tight.
Exactly.
He's a tight end in a receiver's body.
Pitts can play anywhere. That's why I think he's going to be a steal because you can work him at tight end, you can work him at receiver, kind of like a Darren Waller, where he's built like a receiver.
All right.
I know, obviously, there's always knocks on players, but I know I've seen some about his blocking. There's always going to be, those doubts when you're drafting a player.
There's doubts in Devontae Smith and his size. Like
there's doubts in every player,
especially in the draft.
I think Pitts' talent
speaks for itself.
And who knows? He goes to tight end. He can't block. He's not a good blocker. You move him out to receiver. Yeah. He's a 2-1.
Claypool was a tight end with Notre Dame, wasn't he?
So I see him taking Pitts here.
All right. I think it comes down to Jamar Chase and Pitts. So I mean, honestly, my perspective, I'd take Chase, but we can roll with Pitts, and then I think right off the board would probably go Jamar Chase to the Lions. I think it's gonna flip. So I think if Philly were to take Jamar Chase, then I think the Lions would take Kyle Pitts. So if we took Pitts to Philly, I think the Lions would go with Chase. I don't think there's a way
Pitts gets out of the top 10.
Top 10, yeah. And then Carolina, I'm gonna go ahead and we'll just go with this. Like, I feel like it's gonna be. If Trey Lance is there, I think they take the shot at him. They obviously need the quarterback. Bridgewater's just not the answer for them long term. So, I mean, I've seen the rumors with Deshaun Watson. So, I mean, if that could get done. But
yeah, I've seen Fields dropping.
Which he very well could.
And honestly, kind of reminds me of Teddy a little bit. I think he's better.
Yeah.
But just kind of his style, I feel like, is kind of like that.
I think they could also go DB here. I've seen a couple mocks with them taking Caleb Farley or Patrick Surtain out of Alabama. So I think it comes down to DB or quarterback with Panthers.
They also need offensive tackle. I don't see Sewell dropping any farther.
Which you got Rashawn Slater and you got Samuel Cosmi right there that are 2 top 15 ranked prospects according to the Draft Network. But I feel like we got to ride with the quarterback. Like I feel like in this scenario, Deshaun Watson's not a Panther, and they don't have an answer quarterback. So I feel like we rolled Lance here.
All right, I think that's a good pick.
And then the Broncos. It comes down to Farley and Surtain.
I think there goes Surtain.
Just the overall experience, and Caleb Farley was an opt-out this season, didn't play. So I mean, the tape of this season is non-existent for him, whereas Surtain was in the national championship. He's got a father who played in the NFL. He's got stability to his name already. And
Virginia Tech produces pretty good DBs. That's what Fuller went.
Yeah, I think Surtain's the safe pick. I think Farley's gonna be a dog, and to me, it's like a Jalen Ramsey.
We're gonna see here with the Cowboys coming up. I think Cowboys go corner either way. So if Surtain's gone, they're taking Farley. If Farley's gone, they're going to take Surtain.
Which very well. So we can go back to this and say Carolina they didn't take Trey Lance. I think Carolina would have taken Caleb Farley or Patrick Surtain, and then you would have seen the Broncos take the guy who's available, and then that leaves the result of Dallas having the offensive tackle Rashawn Slater right in their arms. But in this situation, I think we roll with Surtain with the Broncos, and then we go probably Farley with Dallas. and Dallas is in desperate need of a DB. And
This is
that's
where the Giants, I feel like, they're either gonna go with that edge somewhere on defense, or they're gonna go receiver. And if I had to say, I think Waddle would.
Waddle's right there. You got a guy in like Kwity Paye, Jalen Phillips out of Miami. You got some decent edges, but I feel like the safest pick is Jalen Waddle, and trying to give trying to give Daniel Jones some weapons. So we roll with Waddle in this
The
one.
receiver, it's gonna be weird this year because I feel like they're interchangeable, kind of like last year with CD, with
Henry Ruggs.
Judy and Ruggs. Like I feel like everyone was up in the air.
It is.
Like,
It's up in there because they're all special talent.
Devontae, what was this?
Devontae Smith.
Jamar Chase could very well be
the first pick off the board, yeah, because he was another opt-out this year. And back in his college days, I feel like he was better than Justin Jefferson, and Justin Jefferson's rookie campaign spoke for itself. Jamar Chase could very well be the first receiver off the board. And another guy we talked a little bit about is Rashad Bateman. Who knows if he were to jump ahead of Waddle, even with Waddle's injury this past season. Who knows if that will linger around? And looking at a guy like Bateman, it's a possibility. But we got San Francisco 49ers up with the 12th pick, and their top two needs are DB and interior offensive lineman. And then they got quarterback at third, which is tough.
With this, I've seen a lot I've seen Parsons in the top 10.
Yeah.
I see Niners going with a defensive player here.
Think they roll with an edge?
I think they roll with an edge. What's the best available corner? Is it Horn?
J.C. Horn. Yeah, it's probably Horn. Yeah, J.C. Horn is the best available corner. That's a top need. Quite honestly, I feel like I like the J.C. Horn pick here.
And like the quarterback situation with them is up in the air too with Jimmy.
It is.
I can't speak for them, but I don't know if they trust him. But at the same time, if they wanted a QB, let's just say based on what we picked, they'd be going after Mac Jones.
Mac Jones is the next available.
So here, I think I don't know. I could be wrong, but their defense last year,
injuries.
Were just hit with injuries,
and
I feel like they don't want that because, in all honesty, the Niners could have been a Super Bowl team.
Without a doubt, could have came back to the NFC Championship.
So if they stack up the defense, the offense, like we said, we don't know what's going to happen.
There's going to be a lot of moving parts, yeah.
But
I just don't know if it's too early for J.C. Horn or if they jump on it in DB and try to fix the DB.
Because the best edge is dude from Miami, are probably right.
Jalen Phillips, and then you have Kwity Paye out of Michigan. I think he's out of Michigan.
Let's just say they go Horn.
Sure, we'll roll with Horn. I think Horn could go anywhere, but I think it comes down to.
I think this might be a little early.
I think it is early, yeah, but.
I think here they go
Slater.
Offensive tackle.
Slater. I think you have to go Slater here. You have three options in Slater, Cosme, and Darisaw, but I think it's quite obvious that Slater's the best out of the three.
They need some work offensive line.
Get Herbert some protection. We got interior O-line, interior D-line as top needs for Minnesota.
See, I don't know if Parsons will drop this low.
I know, but based on needs and everything.
I feel like I've seen Carolina take him.
Mm-hmm. But I've also seen him slipping in quite a few. He was another opt-out too. He didn't play this season, and he had a monster season the year before. So it's just limited tape, and guys aren't. It's going to be a tough/weird year.
If I'm Minnesota though, I don't think they have enough. Do they have enough? Do they trust Kirk?
Yeah.
Either way, they need protection for Kirk.
So that's where I think you go Vera Tucker.
I think
it's a little early.
I think it could also be who's the other? Yeah, the Texas.
Cosme or Darisaw. Their top needs interior. But I don't know if one of these guys could move to guard. I don't know if you'd want to move one of them to guard. I think it's tough, but They do need an OT. Let's for the fun of it, we could go with Cosme out of Texas. I mean, it's a fourth top need on there. They need the offensive line help, and then the Patriots is where it gets interesting because I think this could very well be a spot you see a guy like Mac Jones land. I just don't see him slipping that far into the first based on the amount of teams that are quarterback needy this offseason. And there's so many moving parts this offseason with the quarterback position, it's going to be ridiculous. And
I think if a receiver drops, I think.
But you could see a guy like Bateman.
Patriots,
Bateman's there.
I see Patriots taking a chance. Who knows with Belichick?
It's tough. Interior D line. Christian Barmore is a name to watch out for. That dude is special at D tackles. I mean, that's a third top need, but I think it does come down to receiver.
They need a tight end, but they're not getting Pitts.
No, and there's one other tight end I think that's decent outside of Pitts, but it's probably
gonna be
second, third, fourth round. But I feel like the smart way to go here is honestly, I just feel like you gotta jump on Mac. I feel like you gotta jump on Mac Jones if you're the Patriots. Because I think if the Patriots pass up on Mac Jones, I think he goes to Washington.
We've seen a lot of New Orleans getting that 14th or 15th pick from Minnesota.
Minnesota, yeah.
And I think they're going to be looking for a quarterback.
Yeah, it's tough.
I
just don't think Mac Jones slips past here. And if he does, then I think he goes 19.
We could put it. I don't know.
We'll roll with Mac here. Give Belichick his quarterback. All right, so now we got the Arizona Cardinals, who are.
See, I've seen Horn go here.
Which it very well could be. It's all about need and stuff. So we had Horn going to the Niners, which I think could very well happen as well too. So then it's a matter of who are these guys looking at. I think they go edge.
I think they could go edge. For some reason, I see them going. I don't know if it's too early for RB.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they have not had luck.
You could get a guy like Najee Harris right here.
They haven't had a lot of luck, I feel like, with Kenyon Drake. And Edmonds comes in. But
it's been a running back by committee for quite some time. I feel like
that we know how good their offense can be. If you just even add the run game a little bit.
Let's take a gamble. Najee Harris to the Arizona Cardinals. Let's take a gamble. Okay, now we got the Las Vegas Raiders, which I feel like they're obviously their top two needs are defense. So
I think Parsons here.
I don't know
if they go edge, but
I like it.
I think Parsons is a steal for them.
Okay, so we already drafted Devontae Smith with the Dolphins. And they're back up and they need a tackle. I feel like you got to go Darisaw.
They could go there. They could go with Owusu.
You could go with Notre Dame linebacker as well. But do you want to give Tua his weapon in Devontae Smith and then give him some offensive line help? I think it comes down to those two if they're both still available. But I'm gonna go with Darisaw. Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Darisaw. Okay, we're back. We have Washington. No, Washington hasn't picked yet. Offensive tackle, quarterback. See, I think they're a team that takes Mac Jones if he's there right here. I could see him taking a guy like Bateman.
I could see him going, I could see him going
tackle. Well, because
Jenkins.
They could go Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State.
Or Vera Tucker. I mean, I think he's a steal.
I think Vera Tucker is going to go next pick. That's where I kind of have him going. All right, so
I think adding Owusu though their defense would be insane.
Scary.
But I think their offense needs a lot more work.
Yeah, we're gonna go with the lineman. Then the Bears. Who knows what they're gonna do at quarterback? Who knows what they're gonna do with the line? The defense has been solid the past couple of years, and I think this pick would ultimately have to be an offensive lineman.
Tucker. It'd be interesting to see if Mac.
If Mac was there, what would they? That'd be interesting.
I don't know because then you have the Watson and the Russ thing.
This is where the Colts pick gets interesting to me because the Colts are not that far off. But my two question marks are the linemen are not very, very much available anymore outside of a guy like Jalen Mayfield from Michigan and Liam Etchenberg from Notre Dame. And I don't
I could
think
see him
they.
going bait.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is I could see Bateman because T.Y. Hilton's a free agent this offseason, and I mean he's got his injury history, but he's still going to be looking for that bag.
And then I have Pittman.
Yeah, I feel like in this situation, let's just say T.Y. Hilton leaves, and we roll with Bateman here. The Titans,
I think they go defense.
and I do too. And the guy sticks right off the page to me. There's two of them that stick right off the page. It comes down to edge or interior D lineman in this situation, I think. And I think you're staring at a guy like Christian Barmore or a guy like Jalen Phillips or Kwity Paye. I think all three of those guys could be a difference in that defense. But I feel like you got a guy like Jadeveon Clowney, who's a free agent again. They just paid him, and that didn't work out. He was hurt. Played only a couple games. So, I mean, you could bolster the edge position, but just a guy like Christian Barmore.
And then I'll also add, this is interesting to me because they just released Van Noy, right?
Yeah, the linebacker, which could it could be the Notre Dame linebacker going there.
Or,
yeah.
I mean, could Parsons drop there too? I don't know who you'd rather have.
Parsons
or Owusu. Yeah. I mean, I think that'd be up in there. Here, I think Tennessee's going defense. So I do think it's going to be one of those edge or Owusu.
Let's roll with Kwity Paye out of Michigan. Edge. Okay, we're back up with the Jets. There is a receiver in Terrace Marshall Jr. The DB position. Next one is Greg Newsome, Eric Stokes. I've heard of him. I don't think he'd go in the first round, though.
Could you see I could see an ETN going here, honestly. Who do they have at running back right now?
Not much.
And who do we have the Jets taking?
Justin Fields.
ETN reminds me a lot like Kamara. I mean, he can catch out of the backfield. He can run.
I see more with the Jets in this pick. I like the guy. Yeah, Jalen Phillips sticks out to me right away. I think you gotta go defense almost. I mean, you got your quarterback, and I'm assuming the Jets got some money to play around with in free agency. I think you could find a running back in free agency and maybe bolster the wide receiver position. But I think you got to roll with a guy like Jalen Phillips. And then our 24th pick will be the Pittsburgh Steelers, who just re-signed Ben Roethlisberger to a restructured contract. So quarterback's out of the question for them this year. Top need is offensive tackle to help that slow Big Ben.
And they Villanueva.
Yeah, who's aging. But you got a guy like Jalen Mayfield who's down there.
I could see them going with Mayfield. Tomlin, whatever Tomlin does, I feel like it's the right move. I think he's a great. I know it's not him, but
he plays a role.
The Steelers draft every year. They draft really good.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now we get into a position with the Jacksonville Jaguars, where we obviously took Trevor Lawrence. So I think you got to give him his help right away. I think you got to give him as lineman. And we just took Mayfield off the board, but I feel like the next best one is
Notre Dame.
The Notre Dame offensive tackle. I mean, I think you got to give him his help right off the board, and that's the top offensive lineman, offensive tackle left. And we got the Cleveland Browns, who I think are gonna.
It's defense.
It's got to be defense, and Gregory Rousseau is been claimed as overrated. Honestly, I have no idea who this guy is. I'll have to look into him more, but I feel like they got to go edge. I
see them going Barmore.
They could. They very well could. You got a guy like Myles Garrett on the edge, and then you got Barmore in the middle disrupting the run game. That's scary.
Could you see him taking a Owusu too? I don't know.
I think I'm going to roll with – I'm going to go with the linebacker out of Notre Dame because I think we messed it up a little bit because I think he would have went earlier.
I agree.
And taking a linebacker here with the Browns, I think he's going to go off the board quicker than what we had. But yeah, I think we'll go with that. And then I think the Ravens are going to roll with an edge. I don't really know this guy, like I already mentioned, but So we'll go with him for the fun of it. I think it could be Rousseau either, and then this one interests me a little bit because right now it doesn't have it listed, but Malcolm Brown is the defensive tackle for the New Orleans Saints, who they're shopping right now. So could the Saints be looking with the 28th pick to take a guy like Barmore if he slips? Very well could happen.
I have a weird feeling that the Saints are gonna trade up.
Which they very well could. I mean, they need
I've
a
seen.
receiver.
I mean, like we've said, we've seen the Mac Jones go there. I honestly though, the Mac Jones is the one that I'm the most interested.
It's interesting
because I've seen so many teams. I've seen the Bears take him. I've seen New Orleans take him. Washington could very well take him.
You know what? For this sake, I'm gonna roll with the Terrace Marshall Jr. receiver out of LSU. Whoever the quarterback's gonna be with the Saints, it could be Jameis Winston, who's a free agent. It could be what's his name? The guy who plays everything on the Saints. What's his name? Quarterback.
Oh, Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill. Yeah. Whoever the quarterback is for the Saints, I think you got to throw him a weapon. I mean, Michael Thomas was out last year with injuries, and
you got Emmanuel Sanders.
Who's aging. So I mean, bringing a guy like him and wide receiver 3 growing to that wide receiver 2 role, which is interesting too, because they haven't got him as weapons. They haven't got A-Rod as weapons.
I think Mayfield can very well go
slip here. Yeah. I mean, I also think they got to help that defense.
I also believe that Rodgers wants another offensive weapon because Aaron Jones is probably gone. Who knows?
I think at this point, though, if Barmore's there, I think they lose their mind.
I think they would go ahead too.
I mean, the defensive line, stopping the run has been terrible for them. Linebacker. For me, I think it comes down to Nick Bolton and Zaven Collins. I've seen Nick Bolton slipping a little bit into the second round, but I think you got to take a linebacker here if you're Buffalo. And in this situation, I think it comes down to more than likely Nick Bolton. I've seen him rise up draft boards.
I don't know what the Bills. The only thing I would say running back, but the last 2 first-round picks that they've had have been running back. I think they took Moss, was a first-rounder, wasn't he? I think so was Singletary. Don't quote me on that, but I could see. I think they're lacking that offensive running back, that threat.
Mm-hmm.
Do they take ETN? I don't know.
It's tough.
Chiefs definitely not looking for a running back.
No. They could go linebacker. They could go edge in this situation.
I think they go defense. Honestly,
Rasu go off the board here.
Honestly, the Chiefs don't even need a draft pick.
I know.
But I could see him going there.
Let's roll with it. Edge. Interior D lineman.
I think we've drafted a lot of D-line and linebackers.
We have, which I think this is the only linebacker left that could go in the first round.
And I think I've even seen Owusu, the guy from Notre Dame, drop into the Bucs.
That'd be crazy.
Because at the end, they're going defense with everything up in the air with Barrett and it's David, right?
Yeah, Levante David.
Tony's good.
Maybe we roll with him. Give Brady another weapon. Just top 3.
Do they? Because, I mean, Godwin's up in the air.
Godwin's going to get franchise tagged.
Evans, we all know that.
Yeah.
Scotty Miller.
See, that's the tough. Maybe they don't need one. Maybe they don't. Maybe they – I don't know then, because I think your next best bet is going with a linebacker.
Or a D lineman.
And the edges, I mean.
Let's say none of these edges drop. Then I would say them going with Collins.
Yeah. So we'll wrap it up with Zaven Collins. All right. So I'll scroll down real quick, let you guys see what we came up with for our 1-round mock draft.
With New England and Mac Jones,
That's tough.
I could see Belichick taking a chance on a guy like that.
Oh, for sure. All right. All right, so that wraps up Mock Draft 3.0. This will be dropping on Monday. Check out our episode that will be dropping tomorrow as well before I drop the mock draft. It'll be talking about the word leadership. And check out our – go ahead.
My Bear fans, reach out to Bryce or me. Discuss what you think is going to happen in the offseason for the Bears. We all know the Bears have a pretty good track record of screwing everything up in the draft, especially the first round. I think we've had steals past the first round. Jalen Johnson last year, I think, was a steal. So I don't know. I see the Bears going offensive lineman here if Russ and Watson are in the conversation. And I think that will tell us what the Bears are going to do. If we go quarterback, obviously I don't think we're going Russ. Yeah. I think if we get as a Bears fan, I would love to see us get DeVera Tucker from USC or Barisal from Virginia Tech. Yep. I honestly don't see Mac Jones being there for us. He very well could be.
That's another thing you should hit us up about. What do you think is going to happen with these quarterbacks? Who's going to go where? How early? What quarterback slips? And then especially let's talk about some Mac Jones because that could go anywhere.
I think it's safe to say that Trevor Lawrence is going to go number 1, 100%. And then there's, what did you say, the Chris Sims?
Chris Sims released his quarterback rankings. He ranked Zach Wilson 1, Trevor Lawrence 2, 3 was Mac Jones, 4 was Justin Fields, and 5 was Trey Lance. So Chris Sims
was right about Mahomes.
So that's an interesting thing to keep an eye on for sure. But yeah, that's all we got for Mock Draft 3.0. I hope you guys enjoy this one.
Go Bears.
Go Cowboys.